Hello and welcome back to your own YouTube channel. Spain is no stronger to extreme weather, but recently catastrophic floods have left communities devastated, families displaced, and cities submerged. In this video, we dive into the harrowing events of the recent floods in Spain, uncover the causes behind them, and explore the impact on the country's people and landscape. In the past few days, parts of Spain have experienced unprecedented rainfall, leading to disastrous flooding across multiple regions. In towns and cities across the country, streets have turned into rivers, sweeping away cars, homes, people, and livelihoods. So now we're going to understand what exactly happened. This is the worst thing I have ever read so far on news, by the way, and I don't know how much that Spain is going to literally carry on, because last year this same country had and like blaze issue. The same country had blazing jungles. The whole jungle was burned out, and then we found like millions of acre like burned out, and millions of acre got burned like due to climate change problem. And we did not only lose people over there, we lost several types of species who were just staying in that like a forest in the place in Spain. Recently, I read this news like maybe 98% like people in the world are just facing some catastrophic problem issue somewhat. And one thing for sure, like till now, I think 158 people have died and several people got injured. They are not sure how many people have been injured yet, but they are complaining that thousands of people have fled their home, and they are, like living in very, very hardcore situation. So I think the biggest problem is not for them who have lost their life, but the problem with those people who have lost their lives. And there are a lot of people who might have been lying down somewhere under the debris, somewhere under the wreckage. That's why we heard this news yesterday that 1,200 workers have deployed to this deployed to the rescue operation for saving these people who got stuck under the wreckage. They had got helicopters who were flying on the sky, and like they're using high advanced drone to find out and to like fathom the like the wreckage, the debris which are clearly fallen apart everywhere. So now these people are working very hard to find the people. Same thing we saw in Turkey earthquake, where a lot of people got stuck under the debris. The people who got stuck under the debris, there were likely to be more than there to them who died on spot by the devastated you can say like earthquake, by the dangerous earthquake. That was a very hideous situation. Spain Spain is not more hideous than anything else, by the way. This country has flooded, and thousands of people are being gone missing, and they don't know like how many people are missing now, but they are saying like likely to be more than like thousands of people have gone missing now in Spain. I don't know how much like this reality. Suddenly they say like the rescue teams, and I think like one person, I was watching an interview of a person who was saying, in just right front of my eyes, two people were swept away by flooding water, and none of them could have been found by the authority. And there was a one old woman. She was not supposed to be dead in the way that she ended up. She was just stuck in a car, and suddenly she died by falling tree. A falling tree hit the car where she was in, and then she got spotted in the same time. That was so shocking news what I read about these like horrific pictures of Spain, horrific situation, horrible situations like that we can see so far in Spain. That is so devastating. Business, homes, and like people lives, cars, and a lot of things got devastated. And but people are saying like somewhat they're being told to not get out from the car, but they said like the time was very quick, everything happened very quickly. They could not even take a proper time to get out from the car. And most of them died in their car being stuck, or some of them died just by a falling tree, some of them have died just by a lightning bolt, or maybe just some of them have died by being like capsized along with their car into water. And maybe that's the main reason that Spanish king said very clearly like you should stay in your home, and each and every person. But by the way, Valencia is the city which is flooded the most, and people in Valencia, they're being told very clearly by the authorities or meteorological organization through text message that you are not supposed to go outside and please follow the precautions. But they said it was a very very less time to consider about the precautions. We were already on our car, and then suddenly we saw there's a flood coming towards us, and we got clearly flooded. That's what they said exactly. And I think this is what's going on there, isn't it? So flood waters have surged through major regions, particularly affecting towns with historical structures and narrow streets. By the way, this region, unprepared for such massive flooding, have seen levels of water and destruction that experts are calling catastrophic. The government has issued extreme weather warnings and mobilized rescue operations to save stranded, stranded individuals. Did you know Spain has experienced a marked increase in extreme weather events in recent years, with scientists linking these patterns to climate change? Government response and public reaction. In response to the disaster, Spanish authorities have issued red alerts, the highest level of warning urging citizens to stay indoors and avoid traveling. Meanwhile, communities are rallying together to support one another, with volunteers stepping up to assist in rescue and recovery efforts. Spain has invested significantly in flood prevention measures over the years, but events like this show the limit of our preparation against nature's fury. Climate change and future implication. Experts warn that climate change is playing a significant role in making such extreme weather events more frequent. Rising temperature oscillating to more intense rainfall, increasing the likelihood of sudden devastating floods. Scientists predict that without drastic action, Spain and much of the world will continue to face increasingly severe weather patterns. The European Union has recently committed to ambitious carbon reduction targets, aiming to address climate change and mitigate the effects that lead to success disasters. And while the road to recovery is long, the resilience of the Spanish people shines through. This tragedy serves as a sobering reminder of the urgent need to address climate change and prepare for the future. Together, we must work to safeguard our communities and reduce the risk of further devastation. What are your thoughts on the rising frequency of extreme weather events? Could more have been done to prevent this, like tragedy? This is the question I want you to be answering in the comment section. And by the way, like there are a lot of countries in the world who being flooded very badly. Recently, Taiwan has been hit again by a climate catastrophe. That, like typhoon, they have named maybe Typhoon Ray or maybe Kong Ray or something look like that. This is one of the worst typhoon Taiwan has had so far after 2009. And recently, one month back, you might remember that typhoon cartoon is stuck in Myanmar that killed in Taiwan, and that killed a lot of people. And around 9,000 people being displaced by their home. They flee their home and they had to stay somewhere else, so far from their home. But that Taiwan had seen the massive flooding and the world's worst, you can say, climate catastrophical rain or downpour issue back then in 2009, when more than like 1,200 people got killed in flooding so far in the world we have witnessed so far. I don't know what's going to be happening with this Spanish, like people, because locals are bracing for more heavy rain in the third hit Valencia and Castellon region. These are the two places affected badly by this rain, posing a new flooding risk for already saturated ground. By the way, as I said, 158 people have died, and I think President of the region, Carlos Mazon, had announced 250 million euros. That is accounting for 270 million European, 270 American dollar of aid for those affected. But I think like this government should have announced something for them who've got very much damaged by this flooding, especially those people who have lost somebody into this flood. 158 people. But by the way, like we don't know how many people have been killed yet. Maybe more than 200 people have been killed, because the report are perpetually saying like we are unable to find out the dead body who is believed to be hidden somewhere under the debris and wreckage. That's why they're using very good, like drones and high technological, you can say, equipments to find out the wreckage and the people who are lying down under the wreckage for a long time. They could not have got anything for eating. And while areas around Valencia hit worst by the devastating floods this week have been driven over the last few days, low pressure has remained across Spain and Portugal, bringing storms and flooding to other areas. Now, Portugal is in also danger. Portuguese government have also said like you should be aware of flooding, and this flood might struck anytime in our nation. Then you need to be very careful about the flooding in Portugal, because absolutely it's a very simple stuff. Like if my country would have devastated by this flood and this flooding got stuck in my country, wouldn't Bangladeshi government be allowing people and texting them to be very curious, texting them to be like ready, or testing to be equipped for leaving the nation in emergency, leaving their place in emergency? So I think yes, that's what they're doing. So residents rally to help with clear-off, and I think people are saying like you should stand in a rally, and you should just stand like one by one and behind each other. That will be a great way to not be losing hope and anything in this flooding so far. So I think Pedro Sanchez, the prime minister of this country, I mean Spain, clearly said we have announced 270 million US dollar aid to the people who got affected, and they have released this aid like for this climate catastrophe. Let's go. What's going to happen? People got stuck. People could not make it out of their cars. That was the main reason a lot of people died. Rescue efforts continue amid more weather warnings. As I told you, 1,200 people have been deployed to the rescue mission as weather warning for rain remain in place over parts of the country. These workers are being assisted by drones which are scanning the mud and wreckage for signs of life. So this is going to happen, and diggers and dumper trucks begin long cleanup operation. So like the number of diggers and dumper trucks as the authorities try to clear some of the dozens and dozens of cars that were tossed around in the floods. Certainly some of the vehicles I saw yesterday have been removed, but this is going to be very long job for them. So this is what exactly going to be happen. But the main question continues over emergency alert system. Shouldn't they be alerting people a little bit long back away than they usually like alerted them? A lot of people said like we did not get proper chance to even think about it. Suddenly we got a text message on our phone that you need to avoid driving, you need to avoid a be in your car, and you need to be staying in your home as long as possible because this is an climate alert. And then suddenly they said within maybe hour or maybe 2 hours, I don't know exactly the time by the way, but like they said, suddenly I saw out of the window that flood has came and clearly tossed up and clearly jostled our car over each other, and then we have lost our car, properties, like business, and a lot of things got devastated. This is what they said. So I want you to know what's your opinion on this. Please let me know in the comment section. Till my next video, you have to take care of yourself. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share with your friends. Thank you.